welcome back. Well, this video is just kind of a spur of the moment thing. I was just thinking about loneliness and how it can be so refreshing to be alone sometimes. But it could literally be hell. Think about being in solitary confinement, right? That's the worst thing. They put prisoners in there as a worse punishment. They isolate themselves from other prisoners that probably aren't people you want to be associated with. So if you think about the severity that loneliness holds, you could overdose on that shit real quickly. But it's really helpful in the appropriate dosages. See, I feel like a lot of our problems stem from the fact that we once were in paradise. Terence McKenna talks about this a lot. Talks about the archaic revival. That once we were basically in the Garden of Eden, which was the Sahara Desert before it dried up. We were in small tribes and had fruit and all the amazing things that a human being would want. Community, love, fun, it was the shit, and the shit hit the fan like it does, and we had to leave, and ever since then, we've had this nostalgia for human paradise, and here we are today getting close to a world where we can control and create a lot of things, so we're getting close to maybe making that paradise again, but that's off the point. My point is at one point we had our needs so well met, and as far as loneliness goes, I assume being alone was a good experience back in the day. When you were in a tribe, you could leave your tribe fully refreshed of the things that a human needs, like community, love, purpose, all these things that weren't met by that system. I mean, we're tribal beings, so being in a tribe was very helpful. In today's world, you can be surrounded by tons of people at work, at school, your family, your home, and everyone is so hyper individualized that they're not really connecting the way we used to. Truly, you could be surrounded by people and feel alone, and that's horrible. It really is. So a lot of friends do that. They make you feel more alone than being actually alone. So when the time comes for you to truly be alone, sometimes that's refreshing to not have to be surrounded by people that are in a way toxic to you. But sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes you hit this point, which to me I imagine is similar to solitary confinement, where you never were really quite refreshed in that prison you were living in, and now here you are completely isolated even from shit, and it's just fuck this, man. Even the prisoner guard coming in there just makes that dude's fucking day. He just needs somebody to talk to. That's how important that is for humans, to be getting that essential communication, and we all know it, right? So I just like to talk about, to think about that, we used to just be fully connected and refreshed, and when we had alone time, it was amazing. It was well-deserved and well-needed. In today's world, I feel like so many of us are just so alone and feel so alone, and it's sad that we have to feel like that, especially when we have these tools that can connect literally almost every single human being on the planet in the first world. So it's one hell of an experience to go through that in today's modern world, to be isolated from your tribe originally and then to go into farther states of isolation, and those effects it has on the psyche. And a lot of us aren't thinking about this. A lot of us are just experiencing this, and it really is hard for us to become conscious of what's actually happening. We just experience that feeling of isolation without any real awareness of its origins. You know, it's really up to us, I guess, to use these tools to fight that loneliness, to connect to people, to find our tribes, to rebuild those tribes, and realize we are tribal beings that need each other, need to feel connected. Because in a way, we are all living in our own isolation chamber, solitary confinement from our true tribal selves. So just think about that for a little bit when you feel alone. And remember, just because you feel alone, it doesn't mean that you are alone. Even though we are very lonely, come into this world alone and we die alone. So just think about the shit. Alright? Peace and love.